Joining me now to talk about the abductions and the latest violence in Nigeria is Thomas Dempsey. He's the chair for security studies at the Africa Center for Strategic Studies, and he is a retired U.S. Army colonel. Welcome to the broadcast. Let's talk about this most recent attack. It's said to have lasted for hours, hundreds dead. Is this kind of their pattern, or is it escalating with Boko Haram?
Well, I think it certainly appears to be a worsening security situation. The Nigerians are certainly aware of that themselves. I think President Goodluck Jonathan's comments reflected that. I'd add that my heart goes out to the parents of the kidnapped girls. I'm a father myself of a daughter. I just can't imagine the anguish that they must be experiencing. And my prayers certainly go out for them, the safe return of their daughters, and for all of those who have suffered and lost loved ones in this latest wave of violence.
It's interesting, we have two competing narratives in the last two stories. The president saying that the world misunderstands us, we're going to get the girls back. Then you hear from these parents who say, they just said there is no security, is how they put it. I mean, very simple, there is no security. Which story is right, or is there a little bit of both?
Well, I think there is exactly that, a little bit of both. Dealing with these kind of security problems is going to be a real challenge for the Nigerians. They have some serious challenges and needs for reform in the security sector, in the areas of local governance. They understand that. When I talk to senior Nigerian security officials, they recognize the need for reform. They certainly appear to be moving forward. The question is, will the circumstances give them the time they need to make the changes that are necessary to address a lot of the grievances, which are very legitimate, that you're hearing from some of those parents?
Well, let me ask you about that. You're talking about local governance, and the president himself saying that the local government to the north is not cooperating with them. How much of an impediment is that, and why is that, would you say?
Well, I think that reflects, first of all, a recognition on the part of President Jonathan and of the security sector broadly in Nigeria that finding the girls, dealing with the attacks, dealing with the security problems is going to require local cooperation. It's going to require outreach to and active support from those local communities in which these activities are taking place. At the same time, there's a significant level of distrust, as we know from our own experiences when something like this happens. There are levels of frustration that the attack occurred in the first place. Dissatisfaction with the fact that the girls have yet to be returned, that the kidnappers haven't been brought to justice. But that's a very, very challenging task.
Let me ask you about this group, because as you know, your background, it can be pretty easy to track some people. This is almost like tracking cavemen. They don't have a lot of communications devices. I mean, there's a lot of difficulties in trying to track them down. Plus, the area itself is not very easy as well, correct?
That's true. The area is remote. It's difficult. Clearly, they use the internet, and I suspect the lack of use of modern technology is a little bit overstated. I do think that modern law enforcement has a variety of investigative techniques that can be very, very helpful in finding the perpetrators. That, after all, is what law enforcement does. My hope is that the Nigerians are very proud people. It's going to be very hard for them to accept help from outside on this one, but I think they're going to need it. And in particular, I think the Nigerian law enforcement community could very much use assistance from the very, very capable law enforcement communities of the countries that have offered to assist.
France, Britain, the United States.
Britain, United States.
What
yes.
can they offer? And there's been talk that perhaps drones might be helpful. Do you think they would be an asset?
I think there are a whole host of assets that can be helpful. But I think in the bottom line, this is basic investigative techniques. This is basic law enforcement. We certainly have people that are very good at this, that are very good at identifying and tracking specific groups, that are good at negotiating hostage release, at rescuing citizens that have been put in harm's way. And certainly I think we can provide the benefit of that knowledge to the Nigerians.
And all of that will be critical. Thomas Dempsey.
I believe so, yes.
Thanks so much. Really appreciate your insights.